So I just want to welcome all of you today. It's a very happy occasion, the wedding of Matt and Sylvia. Well, I was going to ask first who was going to give you away, but I think we've already taken care of that. So, perfect. Before we get started, there's one traditional question that we always ask. Hopefully there are no objections today to Matt and Sylvia wedding. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm sure you can get a bigger ring.
Why she do this to me? Please, don't let her get mad at me with him.
It's all downhill from here.
How you doing? I gotta follow that. Yeah, good luck. All right. Well, I figured an iPod Touch was okay since we all work in tech, right? Right. Well, first, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to do this. I was really honored to do the official for you today. So I prepared a few words for you here today. So, let's let it rip. Our Western culture is deeply influenced by the writings in the Bible, and it's common in weddings in this country to read a verse or a passage during the ceremony. I'd like to keep that tradition if I may. So Matt, first you. The psalmist David was a poet and a king. He was also a warrior and a survivor. There's a very beautiful piece from the book of Psalms, one that is often read or recited in times of danger or fear to bring peace to the soul. It's a passage not often read during times of joy, such as we celebrate here with your marriage to the beautiful Sylvia. But I find it apropos, and if I may take a small liberty with the passage, I would say to you, Matt, to remember these words when times may be difficult. When the washer floods the basement, or a storm blows shingles off the roof, when you forget a birthday, or you don't have a quick life-saving response to, honey, do these pants make me look fat? During those times, Matt, I want you to remember the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because I've been there and done that. Sylvia, staying with the Bible for just a moment longer. I'm going easy on you. A beautiful expression of love from the book of Ruth came to mind when I thought of you on this occasion today. In this passage, Ruth expresses her love to Naomi with words that are so relevant today as you begin your lifelong walk with Matt. Ruth said to Naomi, "Don't ask me to leave you and turn back. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people." Matt, that translates into your language as, Curious George looked down from the tree. Turn the page. Curious George looked down from the tree, saw the yellow hat on the jungle floor, and then followed the man in the yellow hat from that day forward.
Oh, God.
So Matt and Sylvia, we, your family, your friends, desire nothing but the best for you both as you walk through life together. As the person honored with the privilege of marrying you today, I'd like to call on the words of an author whose works are woven throughout the tapestry of American culture. An author not often quoted at weddings, but whose depth of perception and singularity of style not only speaks on behalf of all of us gathered here today, but also befits the beautiful and unique relationship you share. So some thoughts about love from the pen of Dr. Seuss. We are all a little weird, and life's a little weird. And when we find someone whose weirdness is compatible with ours, we join up with them and fall in mutual weirdness and call it love. And how do you know that love really is love? The good doctor explains that as well. You know you're in love when you can't fall asleep because reality is finally better than your dreams. How true is it that when crazy in love and reality meet, the mixture is potent? But remember, says the doctor, that being crazy isn't enough. So Matt, Sylvia, love each other, cherish each other, lift up each other's dreams, be quick to laugh and slow to wrath, always ready to defend and never to hurt. Never forget a goodnight kiss or a kind word in the morning. I love you and I'm sorry both go a long way toward healing, even if you don't really mean it at the time. Build each other up every day if you look beautiful or you look handsome, even if it's not always true first thing in the morning. Remember, too, who you fell in love with. Along with great joy, life presents great challenges. Life presents hardship. And during those times, I want you to work together to change the world around you, not to try to change the person. Dr. Seuss would remind you to be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So Peter, do you have a ring for Sylvia? Is this Sylvia's? So the ring we have here is a symbol of so much that we cherish. It's such a fundamental part of the universe in which we live. While preparing for today, I spent a fair amount of time trying to think of a way to show the symbolism of a ring in a way that was as unique and special as the two of you are. My thoughts first turned to the natural world. There's a lot of rings in nature. There are rings in a tree, for example, and when those rings are counted, they can tell you the age of the tree. And while the imagery of a deep shaded forest is a pleasant one, the analogy kind of fell apart when I got to the part about having to cut each of you in half to see the rings, and then you wouldn't have any rings, and as soon as that came out of my mouth, my wife vetoed the whole thing, so we'll move on from that one. Then I looked to the sky and remembered there are rings in the solar system around some of the planets. Saturn has very beautiful rings that shimmer. But I let go of those rings when I realized that a deep understanding of the Compton-Ploss nebular hypothesis was required to understand them, and that just sounded too complicated for today. And there are no monkeys on Saturn anyway. There are rings in literature. In the 1930s, J.R.R. Tolkien wrote a famous book, The Lord of the Rings, with a famous poem about a famous ring. The poem went like this: one ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all in the darkness bind them. And Sylvia, while you as the queen of all that lives and breathes, no doubt appreciate the meaning and intent of that poem. Quite frankly, I thought it would scare the pants off Matt. There are other rings, of course, rings in a chainmail suit of armor, a ring around the collar, there may be a ring in your bathtub, rings in a lake or a pond or a river, and there are earrings, belly rings, and, well, other sorts of rings we won't talk about. So I came back to tradition. The tradition of the ring is a symbol of eternity. Everything has a beginning. A ring begins when it is forged, when its metal is heated and it's shaped. Its beauty is that once complete, a ring has no beginning, no end. Its path is eternal. Your love for each other had a beginning as well. My understanding is that it involved shots of tequila and a crippling ice skating incident. That was the beginning of your ring's forging, and today is its completion. As you walk through life together, our wish, all of our wish for you, is that your love, your commitment, your dedication to each other will, like your rings, have no end, and in time show no evidence there ever was a beginning. Now, Matt and Sylvia, before we make this official, I want you to take just a moment to consider the vow you're each about to make to each other. This is a moment of serious reflection, but also a moment of joyous anticipation. Or, as Dr. Seuss described it, in Horton Hatches the Egg, I said what I meant and I meant what I said, an elephant's faithful 100%. So shall we do this? Take each other's hands. All right. So Matt, it's to you. Matthew Hannah, do you take Sylvia Giuliano to be your wedded wife to live together in marriage? Do you promise to love, comfort, honor, and keep her, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, through database crashes and woman-proven disasters, forsaking all others, and to be faithful to her so long as you both shall live? Sylvia Giuliano, do you take Matthew Hannah to be your wedded husband, to live together in marriage? Do you promise to love, comfort, honor, and keep him, for better or for worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, and in spite of wildly inappropriate comments made at horribly inopportune times, forsaking all others, and to be faithful to him so long as you both shall live. Then happily, by the power vested in me by the Commonwealth of Virginia, I pronounce you man and wife. Wait. Now before you kiss your beautiful bride, I wanted to pass along on behalf of all of us gathered here today one last word of advice from Dr. Seuss. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is awaiting. So get on your way. Now you may kiss the bride. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Matthew Hanna.